We are going to go to chapter 7 now in science. Climate changes due to the Genesis flood. So go ahead and get to that page 28 of your science book. We're going to read this first page together, and then we're going to have a second video where I'll show you how to do the illustration for the information on page 29. So starting on page 28, how did the flood affect the climate on Earth? And the challenge word is permafrost, word you might not know how to pronounce. Permafrost, kind of like permanently frozen. According to the Bible, how the Earth looks today is not the same as how the Earth looked at creation. Two major catastrophes have led to changes that greatly affected the surface of the Earth. The first change happened as a result of Adam's rebellion against God in the Garden of Eden. Genesis 3:17 through 19 says that God cursed the ground, causing it to grow thorns and thistles. That's a hard word to say with braces, thistles. The original plan for the earth was for it to produce food without weeds, but all of this changed as a result of man's sin. The Apostle Paul tells us in Romans that all of creation has been subjected to futility and is experiencing the effects of this curse. Romans 8:20 through 22. So all of creation is suffering because of the curse that was put on the world because of man's sin. The second catastrophe was also a result of man's sin. Genesis 6:3 through 8 says that man had become so wicked that God was sorry he had created him, and he brought a great flood on the entire earth to destroy the human race. Only those in the ark, Noah, his family, and the animals, were saved from the flood. The flood caused major changes in the climate. It is believed that before the flood, the climate around most of the earth may have been tropical. Tropical, remember from our last lesson, is warm all year round, quite rainy, nice and comfortable. If you don't have houses or you're not growing huge crops, you just eat what grows all of its own. There is substantial fossil evidence, that means things that have died and are buried in the ground, that have been found for a much warmer tropical climate worldwide in the past. Some suggest that there may have been more water vapor in the atmosphere surrounding the Earth, keeping temperatures warmer and more uniform. That means more of the same everywhere around the world. So now, remember we looked at the globe? Here's the globe, and the globe is a little bit tilted. So if my thumbs are the South Pole and the sun is over there, this is winter for them down here. The sun doesn't even hit them at all. It's totally dark. And so it's very, very, very cold down there. But if you had a covering of water around the earth, then the air could move, the warm air could move around and even keep the south and north poles much warmer. So in the very beginning of the Bible, it says that God created land to separate the waters above from the waters beneath. So the waters above the earth to the waters on the earth. And many people think that that waters above was a layer of moisture that protected the earth. That's what maybe some people believe that scripture means. Starting up again, reading right here. Also, the earth was more likely one continent before the flood. And it says that in the Bible too. There's a place where it says in one certain time, the earth was divided or broken up. So there was more likely one continent before the flood, more centered over the equator, possibly. There is evidence that the cause of the flood was the catastrophic breakup of that continent, supercontinent, and the movement of the Earth's plates. The continents we see today, where they are as a result of these rapid plate movements during the flood. they got where they are because of these rapid plate movements during the flood. Let's read the fun fact at the bottom. Even during the Ice Age, the middle latitudes had mild weather. People farmed and lived in the warmer parts of the earth. So the whole world wasn't frozen like in the movie Ice Age, just the northern and southern parts, but much more of the world was frozen than it is now. God may have been referring to the Ice Age in Job chapter 38, verses 29 and 30, when he said, "From whose womb comes the ice and the frost of heaven? Who gives it birth? And the waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen." Sounds kind of like the Ice Age up in the northern and southern parts of the globe. Job may have been familiar with the large areas of land covered with ice during the Ice Age. It doesn't mention the Ice Age in the Bible because Noah and his people were living in the more moderate temperature areas, not up in the north where the Ice Age happened. So we'll come back with a second video for page 29.